Am I supposed to say hello? Rick just hits record, you guys. Welcome to the Play at 3 podcast. I'm your host, Tisha, with my co-host, Rick. And he hit record before he asked me if I was ready. And I said I was. And as it is counting down, I was in the middle of thinking, you know what I didn't get? I didn't get my water. So I'm sitting here with an empty coffee mug because I normally have my water.
You know what's also interesting
Tell
is
me.
I literally just picked up my drink and realized it's also empty. So we both don't have a drink for this episode. So if we start coughing, we're in probably big trouble, really, if you think about it.
I'm not going to start coughing.
I might.
It's, you know what? Drinks are like a security item for me. I can't explain that. But I always need to have some sort of drink close.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with you that. I would agree with you that. So this episode is going to be very focused around neurodivergence.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure people that have listened to previous episodes know that we're neurodivergent. I think we've brought it up enough times now.
If you're listening, this episode is a surprise to me too, because I told Rick I would just show up and let him hit record, and we have no plan for this. So
you have no plan.
I'm going to be as surprised as all of the listeners are.
So you're going to be exactly the same as what you were
every
2
single
weeks
time
previously when I got you on your soapbox and really got
that scares
going.
me because you have this ability to get me on a soapbox about things that I didn't even know I was passionate about.
I know, it's great. It's like you're learning about yourself while I'm also learning
in the moment.
About you. In the moment. All happening in real time. It's fantastic. So here's the thing, Tish, I'll give a bit of a backstory of you, and please correct me if I miss anything out or get anything wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'll pretty much nail this.
Okay.
You're diagnosed ADHD.
Yes.
You're in
officially.
the top.
I didn't self-diagnose. Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you are diagnosed.
Okay.
ADHD, because I'm diagnosed dyslexia.
Yes.
You've been, I'm going to say the word categorized.
That's okay.
In the top 7% of ADHD within the US.
Like 5%, probably.
Was it 5%? I thought it was 7% for some reason.
Yeah, it's pretty high. It's
probably the top 2%.
It's a surprisingly high number that even shocked me. Yes.
Yeah. And it's shocked a lot of people who have already been
which is actually
with
sad.
ADHD as well.
Do you know why that's sad? It's
why?
Because it's very sad because it means that I was high masking, high achieving while I was high masking, which really means that I was always on high alert all the time in order to fit in with all the neurodivergence and appear like I am not ADHD. So for people to be super surprised by that means I was doing a really good job at masking, which is sad. So,
well, you were doing an okayish job because I picked up on it straight away.
Only typically other neurodivergent people. I say that, but I think maybe it was really obvious to everyone, which is interesting. It was not obvious to my family. It wasn't obvious to the people that I was doing day-to-day life with.
Your inner circle didn't recognize it, but your outer circle did.
Yeah.
Is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting, and that is also extremely sad. I think there's a level of grief that comes along with the new diagnosis. It's like a mix of, it's like a Napoleon, it's like a banana split. Here I go with my neurodivergent analogies. It's like a banana split. It's like, you see somebody that has neurodivergence, but there's different flavors. And with every experience that you have with them, it's just like a different bite of the banana split, right? It's, I don't know. It's just, it is a little bit sad though, because it means that for my whole life, I walked around my whole life. Like when you really, it sounds overdramatic, but it's extremely true. And if you are neurodivergent and you've been recently diagnosed, you understand the grief that comes with it. It's like this relief, but this level of grief and sadness because it means everybody around you for your whole life didn't really see you. And that is a very sad thing as just a person in general not feeling seen.
When you're saying, though, that people didn't see you,
The real
you
me.
also the real you also
Mm.
said that you were, like, high-level masking.
Oh my God,
Can you
yes.
just, like, in your own experience, what can you describe what high-level masking is?
Yeah. So for women, it's very common, and I think a lot of women are still doing it and may not realize that they're masking ADHD.
Mhm,
High masking means I'm doing a lot of work. It's like your computer. It's like your operating system. It's like when your operating system on a computer is overloaded in order to perform for you. That is
mhm,
what masking means. So masking is going to mean that I've already done a lot of overthinking and a lot of prep in order to show up like every other neurotypical person in the world. It means that I am constantly in my head going through conversations,
mhm,
how to reply or respond appropriately,
yep,
what the rules are of the social situation I'm going into. It means probably that when I'm in that social situation, I'm being much quieter.
mm,
And you're seeing me be really quiet, but in my head, a lot of things are happening. And interestingly enough, a superintendent that I worked with once, years ago, I mean, it's been like almost 2 decades ago. It was when I was a brand new teacher and I just started my instructional technology job, and I
mm,
was at a conference with him and we were at dinner, and everybody around us, like everybody's talking, but I'm just sitting there listening, observing, taking it in. That's what masking is. I'm not saying what's on my mind, because if I say what's on my mind, it's going to throw the flow of the conversation off, and it always does. So I was just sitting there, and he, at the end of dinner, he said something like, kind of nodding at me, "This one's really quiet, but there's a lot going on inside of her
mhm,
head." And so there are glimpses of people seeing me and knowing, but none of us really knowing what it was. And so that's it. I'm masking. I think this podcast and my TikToks are me unmasking.
yep,
I have to focus to make eye contact, because when I was in school or a teacher, people would be like, "Why are your eyes going all over the place? You're looking at all the things." Because I'm thinking, I'm processing. My brain is going 1,000 miles a minute, and my eyes are trying to focus on something so that I
yep,
can continue processing. So, yeah, eye contact, what else do I you can't see it now, but I have a ton of fidgets on my desk, and I
mhm,
will take one of the fidgets and I will put it in my hand, because my hyperactivity is happening and I need to be able to tap it or touch it or flip it in my hand to keep myself focused.
yep.
I'm
So it's
trying to
like
think of.
a nervous system kind of thing. It's just to help soothe
Yeah.
that nervous system when things, especially because
Well,
I know you gave me a little fidget thing, and I do fidget with whatever is on my desk,
yeah. I gave
constantly.
you one
Even
of
when we're in,
these. If you're
you did.
watching, you can see it. It's a little fidget and it has all these little different
It's a
fidget
cube with little different
pieces.
things on each
I think it's
side of
called
the
a
cube.
fidget cube. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I do exactly the same thing, and you
And it's
described.
quiet. That's the
Mm-hmm.
key, because you can hold it in your hand and you can fidget with it and it's not gonna make noise on the mic where Rick is
Yeah.
like, "Tisha." Or if you're on a meeting, a work meeting, or if you're in the classroom. So I used to give my students Play-Doh. I
Mm-hmm.
used to buy little tiny packets of Play-Doh, not knowing really why I was doing it, but I thought, I'm gonna get them little Play-Dohs. So I would keep these. My students used to have little cubbies, so they come into my classroom, they'd have a cubby, and I would put Play-Doh in their cubby, and they would, when they needed to fidget, they would take out their Play-Doh and they would fidget with their Play-Doh. And the reason I got Play-Doh, again, is because it's really quiet
Mm-hmm.
and you can fidget with it while you're working, while you're thinking, while you're talking. And so I keep this at my desk as well because it's quiet and
Yep.
nobody knows that I'm fidgeting while I'm on a meeting or a podcast.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I just want to pull it back to what you were saying at the very beginning, the first, and annoyingly, I've kind of forgotten it. This is another trait
Well,
of definitely my
yeah,
neurodivergent, that I can have an idea, and it's
it
actually,
gets
before I go
lost,
into that, I'm
right?
gonna yeah, it gets lost. I'm gonna go into what you were just describing about your eyes are all over the place, because I'm doing exactly the
Mm,
same thing right now.
mhm.
Whenever I'm trying to think of something or wanting to talk about something, I'm processing it in my mind. I'm
Yes.
usually looking off into a different location. I'm not always looking into the eyes or even at the direction of the person that I'm speaking to,
Which would
because
tell neurotypical people you're not paying attention or you're not locked in, but you
yeah,
are.
but you are, because you find that by staring at somebody else ends up throwing you off
Oh,
of what you're
yes.
trying to say. So you have to be looking off in different directions
Yes.
to kind of ensure that you're keeping the focus, which is why I've already forgotten the first thing that I was saying.
Well, the first thing that we were
And
talking about is you were kind of telling the story about how, like,
it was the masking.
I'm a baby
You,
neurodivergent.
because you've not been, it was only a year ago you got diagnosed now, isn't it? Is it a year now?
Actually,
Or is it 2
it's
years?
been 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
It's been
Wow,
two and a half
time's
years.
flown.
Yeah.
Time's
Yeah.
flown. But when I was talking about the masking side,
Hmm.
you gave one example of how that was it. How you basically you explained how when something's coming up, you have to plan,
Yeah.
prepare,
Hmm.
understand all these different things.
Hmm.
And this is really a big indicator, because for those that who haven't been diagnosed with as neurodivergent, whether that's dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD, autism, anything, and you may be thinking that, oh, I've got this thing coming up, I need to prepare, because if I don't prepare, that's giving me anxiety.
Yep.
I'd be worrying, I'd be stressing, I wouldn't sleep. I've had so many moments like that that I have to prepare way in advance,
Hmm.
even planning out what exactly could happen so that I'm
Hmm.
ready. I mean,
Hmm.
that's can be related to anxiety
Well,
and other levels. And then you've got the
anxiety comes
individuals.
along with the neurodivergent
Exactly.
because of that. Yeah.
And there are people, like, I remember being at school and my friends just being like, one of them, he was very, very good in English, would hardly revise, and would revise right towards a couple of days before, and then walk into the exam, walk out, and get an A.
Yep.
He was just that good.
Yep.
I would say he is not
Right.
neurodivergent, neurotypical.
Just based on that story, I
Just
can
based on
tell
that
he's
stuff.
not. Hmm. Yes.
Now, there are definitely, I'm looking at it going, how is he doing this? And I've got to do all of this stuff to prepare for myself for, I don't
Just
know,
for
a
getting
one
there.
hour meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, So what I'm basically trying to say is, to people that haven't been diagnosed with neurodivergence or aren't even aware of it and just feel like either they are slipping behind, that they underperform, they're not good enough, so the unworthiness, it isn't because of those things. It's how our mind actually works. It's our
Yes.
neurodivergence that actually causes us to be in that situation. And for you, I can see that before you got diagnosed, you were having to do all this extra work to accommodate for how you
Yes.
felt when it came to these situations. Because as well, when you're in those discussions, for example, let's take a meeting as the bog standard, because that's what everybody knows is a meeting.
Sure.
We can be in those meetings and it's going to take us at least another hour after
Yeah.
minimum
Yeah.
after the meeting to understand what the heck's gone on and process and provide ideas that we have. We can't always give answers in that meeting unless we've done it numerous times and it's a habit. It's like
It
a
becomes our
muscle memory kind.
talent.
Yeah, it becomes
Like
a
some of the
muscle memory.
things we can give feedback on very quickly. I think that's what the rest of the population doesn't understand. A 1 hour meeting for neurodivergence is probably actually a 2 or 3 hour meeting because we have to be in our head an hour before and an hour after. So if you have a meeting, a day full of meetings, and you wonder why you're so exhausted,
Mm-hmm.
you're not exhausted because you were on the meetings. You're exhausted because of the processing time before and after the meeting. And you multiply that by 7 meetings a day, and now your neurodivergent self is in burnout mode.
And it can't keep up. As you just
No.
said, you need an hour before, an hour after. What if you've got 3 meetings, 1 hour each, one after the other, right at the
Well,
beginning of
that's
the day?
literally happened to me.
Yeah.
Last year, I had so many meetings at work, back-to-back meetings. It is part of what put me in a burnout state because I could not my I could w the expectation I say this a lot when we talk about this as educators, but the expectation of anybody being able to process and think constantly from 9 to
Mhm.
5 or in a school day from 7:30 to 4, whatever time you're in school, that is that is the definition of madness. We are
Yeah.
expecting human brains to be as productive as a
Mhm.
machine.
Yep.
That's the expectation, and we aren't built for that. So neurodivergence come along typically, and they immediately will spot that and be like, No, like, I know I can't do this. How are the rest of you doing it?" I don't think neurotypical people are doing it well.
Mhm.
I just think that they don't have the 1 hour before and 1 hour after processing time, so it appears like they're doing it well.
Yep.
But I don't think that that is how anybody's brain was built, and
No.
so I speak a lot. I'm very passionate about that. We aren't giving our brains enough time to process or be creative. How are we coming up with better ideas if we're not giving our brain space and room and time? I don't know.
I think this is the thing when it comes down to meetings, there's always this structure of here's what we want to discuss. We want to try
We
and
want
come
an
up with a
agenda.
solution,
That's good.
and then
Yes.
we want to come out with what the next action points are.
Mhm.
All meetings generally run that kind of
Mhm.
basic structure.
Sure.
But I will tell you now, if it's on a meeting that I am not familiar with, I might not be able to bring ideas to the table in that 1
Mhm.
hour.
Yeah, I agree.
So, because I've had it a number of times, and with other neurodivergent people, where you can have the conversation in the meeting, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes after the meeting, I have people coming to me with ideas, but then we've already structured an agenda or an action list after the meeting.
Mhm.
So one thing I would suggest, I think this is something that even I might actually take forward. This isn't something that I've done myself, so I'm not advocating for people to use this, but maybe this can be something we learn together. That when you are having a meeting, when you're needing decisions to be made, having a meeting to put ideas down on the table. This does not need to be an hour meeting. This needs to be a 30-minute meeting. So I've already reduced it from 1 hour to 30 minutes. Give people the structure, give people the opportunity to speak in that 30 minutes that have ideas, go away, come back for another 30-minute meeting where people who have other ideas, who've now had the time to process what's been discussed and come with in a sense, a bigger package of potential ways to move forward
I'm gonna
where
raise you on
everybody's
that.
actually
I'm gonna
gone,
raise your idea
you're going to
to
raise the
something
idea to another.
because I'm an educator, because I'm
Okay.
neurodivergent, I'm already accommodating for that because that's a fantastic idea.
You're accommodating to it, but they don't in the workforce because most
W n
people
I agree.
don't
The
only
the
accommodate
ex
really to the neurotypical
the
approach.
expectation is that if you're brainstorming an idea, you're brainstorming it in the moment. You're brainstorming it, and you need to speak right then, and you need to have the idea immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not accommodating for anybody.
Yep.
Like, not really. And so you're not gonna get your best ideas. Walking away from the meeting that is 20 minutes long, getting your brain started thinking of ideas, and having a repository or something. This is why I loved Wakelet, right? Or Padlet, or any of those places where you could curate thoughts, ideas, brainstorms, questions, and having that sort of as an open space for people to put their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be a document, and it
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be a slide deck.
Nope.
It shouldn't be in a productivity tool like Notion or ClickUp. It can be, but I even say no to that because our brains are like, okay, you want me to go into Notion? Oh no, look at this notification I have to do this thing over here that is due tomorrow. Now my brain is not thinking about the brainstorming of the idea we had the meeting on. My brain is now, ooh, this is a to-do list. So there needs to be a separate place for brainstorming. A doc.
So something like Miro or FigJam or
Yeah, but think
something
about
where
it.
it's a canvas that is a space. There's
Not a lot of people are
non-linear.
using those tools. They're not really skilled. Like if you said, Tisha, we're going to use those tools, I'd be like, okay. But the majority of people probably aren't using those tools in that way.
No.
But I don't know the answer. I think sometimes the answer is just a simple notepad and a pen or your iPad, right? And you're just jotting them down. But where do you put those? Where do you place those? I don't know the answer to that because Google Docs is not a solution. Google Drive isn't. A slide deck isn't.
Well, the thing is,
Now you've got me thinking about digital tools.
described, what you've described is linear, is tools that are linear.
That's
If you're
linear.
working on,
Yeah, linear thinking.
if I'm doing a slide deck, I'm working on individual
Oh,
slides from one to whatever. If I'm on a Google Doc or a Notion doc, I'm working from top down. That's why I say Miro or FigJam, if you're using like the sticky note
yeah,
kind of structure,
yeah.
it
I
then
love
becomes
sticky
like a
notes.
whiteboard. A whiteboard
Exactly.
with sticky notes that is collaborative, that is
But that you
might
can go
not be
back
in
to.
person, and you can go back to, and it's just
What's the
that
word for
particular
that?
thing.
Let's see. You've got me going tech tools. Now I'm thinking, what is the word for what you're saying? It isn't something. So I'm thinking about like Nearpod and Lumio and tools like that. You can go in and create whiteboards, right, with
Hmm.
students and with teachers, like a single link
It's a
whiteboard.
collaborative whiteboard
It
or a
just needs to be
collaborative
simplified,
space.
right? And I think that's what it is. In the moment, thinking can be hard. You also think about those tools. As a neurodivergent, I'm going to need, we already said, I'm going to need extra processing time. So are your students. How do we, again, I love your idea. I want to do that idea. I think it's a perfect idea. I think the 20-minute meeting, here's what we need to ideate. Let's go away. Here's the place you're going to put all of your ideas. Let's come back on this day and let's review the ideas, right? So
Hmm.
if it's 2 a.m., because you know it will be for a neurodivergent,
Yeah.
2 a.m., I'm be like, ooh, I have an idea. I can go to that place and not disrupt anybody else and just pop my
Hmm.
idea in there.
Yeah,
So
and then you're just locking it down to the only thing that you'll find that you always have to do is you have to lock it down to a certain time. You have to give it a
yes,
time frame.
you've been good
That's
about
something
teaching me that.
you can't be too flexible on. You can't say we're going to have a
Right.
20-minute meeting now and then we're going to leave it for 3 months so that everybody can
No,
put
no,
their
no. 3 months
ideas
is too
down.
much. No, 3 months is too much time. I would say
But you
like
know
a
what I
week.
mean with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, being
Yeah.
able to just plan out, but because we live in a world which is so now, the meeting approaches, they do not accommodate for so many people, and
Well,
we
wouldn't you
have
say
to
that
do
the
things instantly.
meeting approach in a real world environment, in a work environment, a meeting is the equivalent of whole class instruction
Yes.
with a teacher standing at the front of the room
Yep.
and the students that I guess are not the top performing students or who don't think like that. They're at the back of the room and they get silenced. That's what it reminds me of. It's very much like it works that way unless you've just really overcome a lot of those anxieties. You're not gonna speak up in
Hmm.
those meetings.
Which is why then you find that people that were in the classroom and didn't enjoy those experiences end up
Yeah.
going into meetings and feeling exactly the same
The
thing.
same way. 'Cause the same structure of the classroom
Hmm.
has just carried over into the workplace.
Exactly. Exactly. And it
It's
just
interesting.
it does not accommodate. I'm going to keep saying that. It does not accommodate. And we have to work on a system that is going to be better for the majority, well, for all really. And
Well,
the
we had
focus
a
is always on the
podcast guest
neurodivergent.
last week,
Yes.
and she said something that was just so she said so many things, but I'm telling you, it was such a good episode. She said something like, "The technology's changing, the world's changing, my students are changing, but I'm not changing."
Uh-huh.
That's essentially what we're saying.
Yeah.
That mindset of whole classroom teaching, the old way of teaching, I'm going to say it that way because we've been doing it too long,
Mm.
because that's what we experience as kids. That's what the adults, because we're becoming adults, take into the workplace. How do we stop that flow of making it normal to work in those environments? I don't know. But I think this brings up a really interesting
It,
idea, because here's what I believe. I believe neurodivergent people, all neurodivergents, we're not built for that type of classroom or that
no,
type of workplace.
no.
And so it's about, you know, no, again, back to the previous episode, knowing what our talents are. What are our talents? Well, as a neurodivergent, it's going to be across the board. And some of us have multiple talents. It's so interesting because I think neurodivergents are multi-talented in
Yep.
multiple different interests. And neurotypical people don't know what to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Systems don't know what to do with that,
Yep.
because you have to fit into a box, but I fit into all the boxes. So you're going to split me into 14 different pieces? Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Yep.
think about it. Let's just think about it here. Okay. And I'm sure, as if you're a teacher, you probably understand this, because most teachers have multi interests and talents. But if you said, Tisha, I want you to design a course about podcasting and I want you to teach people how to do that, I'd be like, okay, let me go do that. That's easy peasy in my brain. I'm going to put together a design document. I'm going to start lining out my courses. I'm going to start recording videos. What audio? How am I going to assess it? What do I want them to do? Like, just like that, right? Then you
Yep.
may say, Tisha, now I want you to create a course teaching people how to use GarageBand, how to use the audio in GarageBand to record that, recording different audio pieces, voiceovers, whatever you want it to be. Show them then how to upload to iTunes, for example, and get that audio on their phone. I'd be like, okay, I can have that done in an hour. Then you may say, what else, Tisha, can you do? Ooh, you know what I can do? I can also watercolor birthday cards, because I do. So you need
Mm-hmm.
a birthday card? Let me go. I can do that I could probably do 2 in 10 minutes. Done. Here's your birthday cards. Then let me think of what else. You may say something like, I want you to do a social media course. I want you to teach people the differences between LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. And I want you to talk to them about how do you show up in each of those and what would you say, and you know, how is social media changing the history of social? Okay, done. Then you may say, like Brian Seppi is like, Tisha, go post a video once a day on TikTok. And I'm no script. And I'm like, this is the scariest thing I've ever done, but okay. And I'm doing that. My
Mm-hmm.
analytics are insane. Just for me, it's maddening to me that posting once or twice a day on TikTok is shifting. But and then you may say, Tisha, and you remember from Wakelet, it was like this Marcus who would do video and
Mm-hmm.
editing and all the creatives. I understood that language. So he would say, I want it in this format. I want your mouse to be this size. I want it to come over this way. This is the file type. I mean, he would be very specific. And then I
Yeah.
would give him the script with the timestamps of where everything that was happening, done, because I understand that. I taught
Mm-hmm.
broadcasting.
Yep.
Then when I show up and you're like, hey, look at this code, I'm like, oh my God, I understand it. So I think that's it. It's easy to put neurodivergence in a box, but what you are really doing is you are limiting the creativity that they're about to give you. You are
Mm-hmm.
limiting the innovation and innovative ideas that they're about to share with you.
Yep.
And you're limiting really the advancement of all the things they're about to help you with by doing that,
Exactly.
putting us in a box. And I think that is, you know, that's what I experienced for so long without being able to verbalize it and put a name to it. And some people would say, and you said it in the beginning, I don't want to use a label. I want you to use a label. And you would find that a lot of newly diagnosed neurodivergents are going to say, we want the label. Do you know why we want the label?
Go on.
We want the label because for so long, we thought something was wrong with us. For so long, we were told that because we didn't think like everybody else, We weren't worthy. We weren't worth anything. We needed to sit at the back of the room. Oh no,
Mm,
Tisha, you didn't pass this test, but everybody else did.
yep.
So you're going to go over here and everybody else gets to go do this thing. And I think that's what it is. We want the label because it explains so much. It explains so much even with the grief. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
relief and a grief at the same time. But we want the label because we just thought we were stupid.
Yep. Yeah,
Despite
I
our
can understand that.
credentials, despite I have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, a high school diploma, I've written a book, the messages of you aren't worthy because you don't think like everyone else, astounding if we were to count them for every individual neurodivergent person. I know I'm not alone in that.
Mm,
TikTok has really brought me to this community of neurodivergents, specifically women, and it is astounding what we were taught and told by action and words from all the people around us, including the people that said that they loved us.
mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing though. That I mean, you said that neurodivergent women, women obviously are usually diagnosed later in life compared to men. Um,
We
the
won't get into the
idea,
patriarchy today.
no, we're
I'm
not gonna get
laughing
into
because
that.
Rick, I always talk to Rick about that, but it is true. I mean, think
It
about it. The
is,
reason is because we were just focusing on the boys
yeah. Yeah, that
in the
was the case.
research.
And the thing
Mhm.
is, even if you look at neurodivergency in general, I mean, dyslexia in the 90s wasn't really understood, and
No,
only now that are we actually starting to understand it more. But what I tend to notice is when something gets introduced from an educational standpoint, those in school will then bring that into the workforce. But the problem is
I
you're
don't think
looking at
they
like
do though.
20 years.
I would
They do.
argue with that because
I,
I think it stops. I think it's you go back and listen to our podcast with Aileen. She was saying something like the neurodivergence that. Why are you making a face?
I'm letting you continue, but I disagree with you.
Well, we knew that was going to happen. This is why we're here. We love this. Everybody loves the discourse that we have. But here's what I'm going to say. She said something about when you have a neurodivergent student in your classroom,
Yeah.
the support teacher is the one emailing you saying, "Hey, Tisha just got diagnosed with ADHD. She's in the top 5%. It's a high level ADHD. Here are her accommodations." And typically the teacher just looks at it and is like, "Okay, I have to do these things," without really taking ownership of it. So you think
Hmm.
about a student goes from teacher to teacher, from class to class. They graduate. It ends. I know that there are it doesn't end for them, but what I'm going to say, let me say my
I'm
thing.
not saying anything. I'm letting you
If
continue.
you are watching this, you are seeing his face, and some of you watch this podcast just to see Rick's facial expressions.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm
so when that student goes out into the world, it isn't as if they are gifted a diploma that says they graduated high school with ADHD, right? It isn't tagged or labeled onto anything. So they're going out into the world, and a lot of people make choices to not talk about their ADHD. They do not want anybody at work to know because they know that that is putting a target on their back by
Mhm.
saying it. So I don't believe what you said.
Okay.
Now you
Um,
can tell me what you think.
Now here's my opinion.
Okay.
When I was at school, during primary school, which was elementary and half of middle school for those
Mhm.
in the US, the only things that I was offered as support was early morning reading club, and
I
when they were
can't.
doing English classes for the main group, those with dyslexia would go off to a separate class and
Yeah, yeah.
do a different way of
What are
learning.
we arguing though? What is this argument about?
You said that when you leave school, it just stops when you go into
Yeah,
the workforce.
the support stops.
I
Not that
so
you didn't
this is where
get
I
any
disagree.
support.
This is
Okay.
where I disagree.
Okay.
That it does continue into work. And what I'm saying is not just that. I'm not talking about the support. I'm saying about how the
Okay.
work environment is changing, because I say that those that are getting the support now in schools, in 10 to 20 years, it's going to appear in
It
the work
will. So
environment.
you're saying it will
It
change?
will change. Education will lead it.
Because I'm talking
But
about
the
right now.
because you're
I
talking
still,
because the reason why I say it is because look at the evolution of the workforce over the last 100 years. Yes, we can say there are examples of a classroom environment in a work environment. Absolutely. But there are things in the classroom environment that have been brought over to the work environment. Like when I was at school, like I said, with my dyslexia, once I got to secondary school, my accommodations were, even though the school really didn't know, I'd say later into secondary school, accommodating for longer time in exams was the only thing I got. When I went to university, it was, here's a dictaphone to record the audio from the classes. Here's a laptop. Do you need a printer? You'll get extra time. We can offer you this and this.
are you
There
saying
was
that when you
more.
went into work after that, you got offered all those things?
No, hold on. Jumping the gun. When I went into the workforce, because I came from a background of there wasn't really that much to accommodate, the first 10 years of me being in work wasn't accommodating. But I'm now starting to see more places of work wanting to accommodate for those that are neurodivergent.
I agree there. So I agree with you that there
So
has been a shift.
there's
I
been a
don't,
shift
what I
in it.
disagree with you on is that education is the reason. Now,
Why?
and what I mean,
How's
hold on, hold
education
on,
the reason?
hold on,
Because
hold on, hold on,
education's a
hold,
no, no, no. I held on. You hold on.
because I
You keep telling me
misspoke.
I
I
have to
misspoke.
hold on all the. This isn't.
I
Apologies to our
misspoke.
listeners. We're having an argument right now.
They're not surprised. I
Go on.
misspoke
Go on. Go
because
on.
I said what I'm saying is the education system is not the reason. I do believe awareness and education, which normally is going to come through people like us talking about it or people researching it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm it's hard for me to give credit to the education system. I just don't think that's why work environments are being more accommodating. I believe it is education, learning about neurodivergence, but I don't see school districts teaching companies how to accommodate. I don't really understand.
No, the school that they're not teaching how to accommodate, but they are teaching an understanding that there are
Are they?
other types of. You have schools with more computers, more available ways of accessibility within the classroom, more collaboration, more involvement with students, not just, yes, we still have the rows and columns, but not to the level that we had when we were at school. Come on.
I think the reason that there's a shift is because the students, just like me, who sat in those desks just like you and struggled,
Mm-hmm.
we are now in the workforce. So I believe it isn't the school system that created the shift. It is people like you and I and the next generation coming up who has struggled and are now in these companies and places of employment. That is what I believe it is. I'm not giving credit to the education system for making companies aware.
Can I make one point?
Yes, you can. You can make
I'm
two
not
if you want.
praising the education system as the organization, like the Department of Education is not the reason why these things have happened.
Okay.
I am supporting the teachers,
Well, yeah,
the
that's what we
principals
do.
who back these things, and the students who have learned to understand
And that's why I'm arguing
what
with you
is
because
going on with it.
the principals and administrators and teachers are still in those classrooms. So who has moved from the classroom to the workforce? It's going to be the people like you and us.
Yeah, they're the ones that encourage it. But you've also, you're not. The
But
thing
you
is,
have
you're
to
not.
you
Hold
have
on,
to
you
think.
can't. Hold on. You held on. You told me to hold on. I'm going to tell you to hold on. We're getting very on both on our soapboxes. This is a
This is what
first.
Rick thinks that fighting is, and I'm like, we're just not fighting. We're just talking. This is just chats.
Yeah, but we keep telling each other to hold on. Like we're in some like storm or something. Like hold on. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Now that
I
was
know.
it. That was
That's
it.
how
That was
you
it. That
know.
was it.
Oh, okay.
That was
Okay.
it. So you have to agree that teachers don't just teach in the classroom and never speak to anybody else in the workforce outside of education sector.
Say that again.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. Do you agree or disagree that educators who are in the classroom, whether that's principals, teachers, whoever, do not speak to anybody in any other sector within the
Well,
workforce?
no, I'm not going to agree with that. I know they do.
So
I know they do.
conversations happen.
They do. And I
Therefore,
know
conversations of how to work with
that is
students
what
with
I was saying.
neurodivergency
It's
goes
education.
into the
It's
workforce.
conversation. Yes.
And it's
We
the
are arguing.
teachers.
I believe we are arguing the same point. We actually agree, which happens so often.
We
And
really
this is an
do.
example of our neurodivergence because you're saying it one way and I'm saying it another way,
Exactly.
but we're actually agreeing. So we're not arguing.
So my whole point of this was the workforce or careers, jobs, whatever it is, companies are evolving.
This is a neurodivergent trait. I just want to pause here because as a neurodivergent, you just want to be understood and you have to get the thing out of your head and your mouth and then you feel relief. So go ahead, Rick.
Yes. I'm 1,000,000% on that, and I completely agree with what Tisha just said.
You're seeing it in real time.
Yes. So we are in agreement that the workforce or the environment for neurodivergent people in the workforce is shifting, but there is always that like 5, 10, 15, 20-year delay compared to what we see in the classroom.
Yeah.
Because that's where it starts.
Do you feel better now?
Yes. I feel like we went on a.
I apologize. We did. I apologize. You took us down a really long road.
If you're able to follow that conversation, there's a high probability you're a neurodivergent. If you struggled to follow it, you are probably
really
not
sorry.
neurodivergent.
Yes.
You might be, but like neurodivergency is a spectrum. And that conversation might not have sat well with you in that moment.
That was an example.
We're
sorry.
Deeply apologize.
But you know what?
That.
No, we're not sorry because that means we're apologizing for how we communicate. And all I would say is if you are neurotypical listening to this particular episode, or really any of mine and Rick's tangents, use the fast forward button so that you can listen through at like 5 times the speed.
Yeah, that's a very, very good idea. And also, if you've actually listened to the entire thing, doesn't matter if you've understood it or not understood it. Thank you for
just really glad
going through and actually listening to the whole thing.
I mean, I was counting the timer. We have a little recorder timer. I'm pretty sure we did 10 minutes on that just so that you
probably. For
feeling
me
good
to
about
just
your
basically say that the workforce is probably 10 years behind education.
And we were agreeing.
Yeah, we were. We were literally agreeing on that. But it goes back. What I also want to talk about is, because this was what I was also thinking in last week's episode with Aileen, is that the workforce is always going to be 5, 10, 15 years behind. And it just came to me during that recording, and I'm happy I've been able to say it now. Process it and then actually say it. This is why, if we want the workforce to accommodate for neurodivergence, we need to be doing the things that we're now doing in the classroom in the workforce. They need to be evolving parallel.
Yes.
Which is why we're saying like the meetings idea.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about just in that episode, we talked about the senses. And if you are really interested in the life of an ADHDer, you can follow me on TikTok. Thank you to Brian Seppi for having me do that. My videos, listen, you don't even have to be following me. You can just search me and my videos will come up. But the majority of my viewers are on the FYP, so you do not have to be following me. What I'm finding is that there are so many people out there who understand what I am saying about the life of an ADHD or the life of a neurodivergent. One of my most recent posts was about piles. And I know that you in the UK, I know this is why he's laughing. So if you were an American and you're wondering why Rick is laughing, they use all kinds of words for different things. For example, the name Randy doesn't mean the name Randy in the UK. You
Well, it
can
does
look it
mean the
up.
name Randy. You can be called Randy in the UK. It just has
Do
another
you just want to
meaning.
argue today? Do you just want to
Yes.
argue? Okay,
Yes.
so when I say piles, you can look it up to see what they really mean by that word. I'm not going to talk about. I'm not letting Rick talk about it. We are staying on track here. I was discussing how I will essentially put all of the Christmas decorations into a little spot on the floor. And then I put all of my electronics all
Mm-hmm.
together on the floor. And so I was walking through this and I thought everybody is going to think this is mad. But that is one of my highest viewed videos because neurodivergence, we do that.
Mm.
I think of it as a to-do list. Then another video I'm talking about um time blindness. And then another video that's going to come out soon is really about how even today I went to Trader Joe's and I was like, okay, we're going to go to Trader Joe's, and I'm recording sort of a go to Trader Joe's with Tisha who has ADHD. I get into the car and I think I'm ready. Then I'm not ready. I'm like, oh no, I can't go anywhere because I forgot my keys. So then I go inside to get my keys and then I'm like, oh, I didn't take my vitamins. So then I take my vitamins and then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, maybe I should make some coffee so now I make coffee. Now I'm an hour behind getting to Trader Joe's. And then I get in the car and the music has to be just right. The
Yeah.
temperature has to be just right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I realize I'm out of gas. I need petrol. Okay. So now I think I'm making one stop at Trader Joe's and one to Sephora, but now I have to get gas. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I got gas and I was like, okay, that's fine. Um, I'm I'm now an hour into my trip. I'm still not at Trader Joe's. Rick is laughing because he knows. And then I get to Trader Joe's and I'm like, ooh, okay, Sephora is right across the street. Oh, good. Sephora doesn't open until 12, but I didn't know that. So now I have to take Sephora off of my list and it has to go in a different day. And also, while I'm driving to Trader Joe's, I'm also thinking about every single day this week that is coming up. I'm thinking about today, Trader Joe's, Sephora, record podcast, put away Christmas decorations, take the Goodwill bag to my car so I can drop it off. And also, I'm thinking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all at one time. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're neurodivergent and ADHD, you understand this, but I try to give perspective on that because there are people out there who have commented and said, thank you for this video. I'm really struggling. I can't get out of this paralyzed state that I'm in with
Mm-hmm.
all of these different things I need to do.
Yep.
And then you add in the music aspect, so the sensory aspect, the temperature has to be right. What if I forgot my coat and now I'm out and it's 30 degrees? Oh no, I've done that before because I forgot my coat, not my keys, but my coat. If the lighting is wrong. I mean, think about it. It's all of those things. Our office is really accommodating for the fluorescent lights in the office? No.
No.
Are they accommodating for the hot and cold temperatures? Are they forcing their employees to wear a particular shirt that feels like it makes
Mm-hmm.
neurodivergents feel like they want to die because the
Yeah.
material is horrible? I mean, I'm just saying there are still things that I think the normal workplace isn't going to accommodate for, and therefore the responsibility becomes all on us and building a community of people and educating the people in our families, our friends, our coworkers. But then there's sometimes people just don't want to talk about it. They don't want you to know because it's just going to be more work then for them. So
Mm.
I'm just
Yeah.
exhausted telling you that whole story, actually.
I know. I mean, it's I was actually feeling the same, to be honest, because it's
I'm so sorry
we're
that I put you
we're
in the
50 minutes into
exhaustion.
this, and I'm
We're
like,
done.
crikey, this
Crikey,
is
for the episode or for my long story about how I'm so exhausted and it's not even
no,
noon?
just the whole episode actually just
It's exhausting.
has been a lot because we've said it to hold on to each other like 20 times,
Well, I did not
trying
want to
to explain
fight.
things, and now you're calling it a fight. But this is the issue that we face is we're constantly not having a battle with society or with other people. We're having a battle with our inner
With
selves
ourselves. Yes,
because
it's
we're
true.
constantly wanting to communicate what it is that we are thinking, the ideas we have. Like for me, being dyslexic, most people think of things in when they want to describe something in either images or words in their head. And
That's me.
we toss between one or the other. Some people are more prevalent with the words, some people are more prevalent with
Hmm.
the images. For example, if you want to describe a holiday that you're looking forward to or have been on, you're memorizing imagery. You're
Yeah.
explaining what it is that you saw and describing that to a person.
Yeah.
For me, it is purely a do you remember those movies, well, DVDs that had like director commentary or
Yeah.
actor commentary? It is
Yeah.
like watching a
Oh,
movie with
that's
not
us.
just the director, but the director and the actors
All the
and the
commentary. We can't
lighting
tell you what
people, the cinema.
we're telling you one story
Mm-hmm.
about a trip.
The thing is, they're all talking about
They're all connected.
their experiences in the production of that movie.
Yeah.
But imagine them all talking at the same time, because usually
Well,
they
that's
do they do like oh, here's the director and the producers talking about it, and oh, here's the actors now talking about it.
yeah.
In my head, it is literally like all of
All
them
of them at
are
the same
talking
time.
at the
I
same
know
time
exactly what you're
about
talking
one
about.
picture is why I
Yes.
find it difficult to explain, which is why we had that 10-minute conversation trying to explain what we're doing and where we were going with
And
it,
that's why we're
and we still
exhausted.
actually were talking about the same thing. And it's why
Yes.
these podcasts as
Well,
well, especially when it's you and I, end up going here, there, and everywhere
it's
with
because
no
neurodivergence
structure until we
can
get towards the end.
we n- I want to say, like, even I say one size doesn't fit all. That's true. And then, but
Yeah.
you may be thinking, if you're neurotypical and you're listening, like, oh, well, Tisha and Rick are neurodivergent. So that means that they are going to process things and communicate the same way. That is untrue. There
No.
are some neurodivergents that actually do not get along because their thought process and thinking and communication is so
Yeah.
misaligned.
Me and Tish is clearly one example where we just don't get along because we just can't even describe one thing in 10 minutes.
No,
Um,
I think it's interesting though, because we do have these conversations. We know what we're talking about. We can talk
mhm.
over each other. We can. It looks like we've done a podcast. I think it's out now, but we were on the podcast and I remember, it's like, oh, are you and Rick okay? Yeah, we're great.
Yeah.
I try to explain to people, it looks like we're fighting, but we
Oh yeah,
really are
we're not.
communicating in the way that we figured out how to communicate together, which is why we've been able to do the book and the podcast, because we have figured out the neurodivergent code for each other's communication skills, right?
Yeah.
And so I just think it's interesting because, yeah, it seems like we're arguing or talking on top of each other, but that's just how we've learned to communicate. Now, there may be some neurodivergence right now listening, thinking, I cannot listen to either one of them.
Yeah.
We
They're the
are
ones that already closed the video by this
We're
point.
so gracious that you were here for a split second, and that's okay. Now that we're
yeah.
at an hour, Rick, do you have any other questions, comments, jokes, or arguments that you would like to begin now and finish next time?
I'm tired. I'm tired.
I know.
I mean, the whole thing this was very unplanned kind of episode, and we wanted to go
Yeah.
into
You got
different
very
things.
heated.
And The thing is, these kind of conversations, I mean, they spark ideas. I had the idea of how to maybe handle meetings in the workplace that
Yeah, I think that that's a
accommodates
really
to
good idea.
neurodivergent people. So,
I
if
want to tell you about something before we go. Can I
oh,
talk to you about that for this is going to go like kind of in tandem with your meeting idea. And it's
okay,
something that I've been doing and I did post about it on TikTok, but I think this is a really great place to share it.
go for it.
So let me just pull up. So I have my work planner here. Um there's always a running joke that an ADHDer doesn't need another planner or journal, but I actually
You
really
actually
utilize
do. I
one.
think of all the people that are neurodivergent, and that includes me, you're the only person that actually uses your notepad from front to
Do
back.
you want me to tell you why? Would you like for me to explain it? Why
Please,
why it
like,
works? Because I mean, I do
I,
know the myth and misconception. It is because, it is like my comfort item. I
uh,
if I can put everything in my head on this notebook,
mhm,
I don't have to search for it in my head, and if somebody asks
yeah,
me about it, I know exactly where to go for it, and that goes I
mhm,
have, a ledger, I have my morning pages journal, I have a whole system that I've actually recorded, um, I have a monthly calendar, a daily planner. It doesn't overwhelm me because every single notebook takes a particular thought, and that means every thought that I have, every idea I have, every question I have has a
yep,
place to go.
mhm,
And that gives me comfort and safety and relief instead of anxiety and fear of messing up. So this is my work planner and I did this my birthday is on the 5th and so I wrote it out because I was using it for a video. So I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to kind of talk you through it. And I think I've told you about it. Do you remember I told you about the big and scary hour? Have I
mhm,
told you about the big and scary hour? Okay. So essentially I have just a dotted journal here. Okay. And so on the left side right here, I just have the date. So the week was December 1st through the 5th. And I start right here with a brain dump. Literally, whatever I need to write down or what's in my head right now about the week coming up for work, I'm going to dump it right
yep,
there. It's not going to have any organization. I just need to get out of my head. Then
yes,
I can breathe, right? It is like kind of your shoulders will relax. Then underneath that, I have this matrix. And this matrix, I just hand drew. It does not have to be perfect. At the very top, it says quick wins. And at the very bottom, it says big and scary. On the left, it says, "Do today," and on the right, it says, "Do later." Do today, do later.
uh-huh,
Okay. So now in this box, what are the quick wins that are due today? These are the easy things. I'm
yeah,
gonna check my email. I'm gonna check Teams. Maybe I need to make a phone call. Sometimes I even put personal things on here because it has to happen and it's a quick win. Then it's like, what are the quick wins that I can do later in the week? They're gonna go right here.
uh-huh,
Then below that, what's due today that's big and scary? Now, big and scary to you and I as neurodivergents is not going to be big and scary to
uh-huh,
neurotypicals. This is why it's great because it's tailored to us. The big and scary things may not make any sense to anybody else, but it's something that we've been avoiding. It
yep,
would be like, oh, my Christmas decorations. That's a big and scary task that needs to happen today, right? It has to
mhm,
go right here.
yep,
What is big and scary that is due later? Big and scary due later. I'll use personal as an example. I need to clean out my garage. Big and scary, do later. Okay.
yep,
I wrote it down. It's there. Then, so that part is done. So now I can visually see what's happening here.
yep.
This doesn't have to make sense to
This
anybody else but me.
exactly, that I think that's the biggest thing, though, is you have a visual reference.
Hmm.
We know that both you and I work in visual references when it comes to these things.
Well, I learned this from Rick. So I'm going to show you this side. Are you ready?
Go for it.
So the right side of this layout is Friday, December 5th. That's today. It's
Mhm.
not today, but on my planner. I have 3 boxes that I drew right here to do. I'm
Yep.
only going to do 3 things in the
Mhm.
morning. Okay.
Yep.
Very important. Then the big and scary hour. What thing am I going to do for that hour? It has a little box around it. What is the thing that is big and scary that has to be done today? And if I get finished early, I can sort of start chipping away at big and scary do later, right? The
Yep.
1 hour. Then I have 3 boxes for the afternoon. Okay. Quick wins, if you want. Then over here, I made this up. I write down the meetings that I have for that day. If this box goes over 3 to 4, I know I'm in trouble. Why am I in trouble, Rick? Why am I in trouble if this goes over 3 to 4?
I have no idea. Is it something to do with the processing times and how much you don't have the stuff that we talked
let's
about
just do
at the
that.
beginning of this episode?
4 meetings times 3 hours. Where are we at? 4 meetings
I'm
in
just
the
going to
day.
make you sweat for a little bit just because.
And if I'm going to process.
It's 12 hours.
4 meetings are already warning me. It's a warning system, this little box. Oh my God, I'm going to be processing for 12 hours today. I better get a lot of sleep either tonight or I'm going to front load my sleep, right? Because if I don't sleep, this is going to be bad. This is where the burnout happens. Then I have notes. And there is no structure to notes. This is like if I'm on a meeting and somebody says something and I'm like, ooh, I need to follow up on that, or ooh, I need to do that thing. Okay. So now at the end of the day, about an hour before work is over, I'm going to review this. And if I don't do something, I'm going to use a little double arrow and I'm going to be like, okay, that goes on tomorrow. And now I have a constant flow of where my brain sits with work. You can do that with personal as well. I don't do it with my personal because we can talk about the spoon theory a different time, but I use the spoon theory for you're tired, but I want to talk about the spoon theory because we're here. Do you know about the spoon theory?
I
You
believe
took up
we
all of our
used
time
it.
arguing. No wonder you're tired.
Don't you dare say I took all the time for arguing. No, I did not. We used the spoon theory in our presentations when we were at ISTE.
Yes, we do.
Back in 2025.
Well, are you sure? What spoon theory are you talking about?
Picking a spoon.
That is a neurodivergent spoon theory, which I do have a TikTok about that. The spoon theory, the official spoon theory, is a metaphor that uses spoons as a unit of energy to help people with chronic illnesses, chronic pain, or mental health conditions. The spoon theory is a great way to teach your students or yourself or your family how to treat you. So you are thinking of the spoons as energy. Here's an example. Today I woke up and I was like, oh, I have to go do all of these things. We're recording a podcast. Got to put are you sleeping?
I'm not sleeping.
It looked like you were sleeping. If you're watching, you'll know why I asked that.
You know, this is a very interesting episode because we're telling you about the things that neurodivergent people do and how it can seem like you're unengaged, but all I was doing was looking down at my desk.
We're just displaying what we're talking about as if we're saying it's happening. Okay, so the spoon theory is actually going to apply to this episode. Okay, so the spoon theory, spoons are energy. Neurotypical people, I have just found that neurotypical people usually have like unlimited spoons. Okay. They can do all the things all the time. Doesn't matter. I woke up today and I told myself, you know what, Tisha, you're real tired and you're about to have the Sunday scaries because we know the holiday's over. I've got 5 spoons for today. Okay. This is my energy for today. I have 5 spoons.
Yeah. One
of those spoons is just existing. Here's what I mean by that. I know you're laughing, but it's true. Breathing, walking, getting dressed, having breakfast or eating food, self-care. It's like all of those things you have to do. Okay. Then I had to go to the shops. I had to do my grocery shop today. Okay, that's going to take me 2 spoons. Why? Because I'm driving like 35 minutes just to go to Trader Joe's, which accommodates for my ADHD.
Yeah.
That's 2 spoons right there. Then I know I'm going to record this podcast. That is easier than Trader Joe's for me. I could show up and do this podcast any day of the week at any time and be ready. So that's only 1 spoon. Okay. I've already done all of that. So I have 1 remaining spoon for the day. It is barely noon. I have 1 spoon. And I still have to put the groceries away. I still need to put the Christmas stuff away. I need to mentally prepare for the week. I have 1 spoon left. I want to read. I want to do morning pages. I want to do all of these things, but I only have 1 spoon. So when that spoon is full, no matter what time of day it is, it could be in the next hour, I have 0 spoons. That means that if anybody asks me for anything, anybody tries to call me, anybody wants me to engage with them in any capacity, even in person, if I'm living with you, whatever, we're probably not doing that because my spoons are gone. So that is how the spoons work. You have limited supply as an ADHD neurodivergent. Daily tasks have a cost. Getting out of bed, showering, going to work. Different spoons are going, you may only need 1 spoon to do that.
Yeah.
You might need 3 spoons to do that. It depends on where you're at. So the spoon, you have spoon stealers and spoon fillers. Does that make sense? Spoon stealers are the people who are trying to take your energy. They're just taking it away.
Yeah.
Noisy places, stress. Spoon fillers are the things that are filling you back up. Quiet time, rest, sleep, silence, sitting in the car in your garage with nothing on. Those are spoon fillers. And that is how you can communicate easier. So I'm glad that we've had this chat, Rick, because now you can say to me, because you said I'm tired, but I'm tired translates into something completely different for a neurotypical person. I happen to know that your version of I'm tired means I have no more spoons.
Yeah.
But not everybody knows that. When you say I'm tired, people will be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're tired. So am I. Let's go to the water park for the afternoon."
Yeah, let's both go and chill.
That's not what I meant.
I'm just like, I want to go away and curl up in a ball and just do nothing in silence.
And that means that your spoons are done for the day. And the only way that you get to renew those spoons is by resting and sleeping and doing self-care, whatever that is for you. It's different for everyone. And then, so that is where I'm going to leave it. I think your meeting idea, I think me sharing this little layout might be helpful to any of the neurodivergents listening. I mean, yeah. And then the spoon theory, I guess, is new to you. I'm so sorry I didn't teach you that sooner.
That I wasn't familiar with. But no, I appreciate you telling me about it. I'm actually going to do a little bit more research tomorrow on it.
There's a link.
Tomorrow.
There's a great
Tomorrow I'm gonna do it.
Look, you're like, Tisha, no spoons, but I am gonna put in the chat here for you. I'm going to put a little link. I've lost the chat. I'm gonna put a link here. It's a LinkedIn post. You can even link it to the show notes if you want.
Yeah, so if you're listening, it will be in the description. Well, wherever you're watching, it'll be in the description for you. The chat that Tisha's talking about is a chat that we get to look at during. It's not like we're doing this live stream right now.
There's the neurodivergence coming out. He's over explaining the chat. It's because you have no spoons. I'm not being mean.
Informative.
You are very informative and also out of spoons.
Yes. Very much so. Okay, so we're an hour and 8 minutes into this, Tish.
I just wanted it to be valuable to the people.
I completely agree with you. All I'm saying is
I won't bring up that 20 minutes of that was you trying to make a point.
How have we gone from 10 minutes to 20 minutes now? You're going to next say that for the last Tisha time. Yeah. I'm surprised you've not said, well, for the whole hour has been about the argument. I've only spoken for 8 minutes.
Stop.
No, but if you've enjoyed this very neurodivergent episode today, we'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Follow us, subscribe to us wherever you're watching or listening. It is really helpful to us, and also it means that you will not miss any future episodes. Until next week, we'll see you then. Bye for now.